We now welcome the former UFC champion and number 14 ranked UFC light heavyweight contender Mauricio Shogun Rua. Mauricio, thank you for the time today, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for support.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Hello, Shogun. It's been a year since the last fight. You've had such a long career. Why was it important to you to get this rematch with Paul Craig?
Ano da primeira luta de Paul Craig, você teve uma carreira muito longa. O que você...
Eu acho que é uma revanche que eu sei que uma hora ia acontecer, né? Por causa do resultado que deu empate, né? Então, veio até rápido. Eu imaginei que ia durar um pouco mais, mas eu tô feliz com essa luta.
Well, that's a rematch that I knew was going to eventually happen because we drew our last fight. And as a matter of fact, it happened even a little faster than I expected. But I'm very happy that this fight is taking place.
You said after the last fight that you felt like you maybe fight 2 or 3 more times. Can you confirm, will you fight again after this fight with Paul Craig, or will you make that decision after the fight?
Uhum. Na verdade, eu sempre encaro a próxima luta como se fosse a última. Mas eu não sei ao certo a hora que eu vou parar. Eu tô no final da minha carreira, e eu vou fazer umas 2 lutas e parar. Mas assim, não sei certo o número exato ainda.
Oh, actually, every time I go into a fight, I look at my upcoming fight as the most important thing, kind of my last one. But I really don't think about it and don't make plans on when I'm gonna retire or how many fights I'll do. I'll just take it a fight at a time, and after the fight, I'll think about it. But I'm happy to continue with my career for now.
You became very well known being a part of Shoot the Box in Brazil. I want to ask Jennifer Maia, who trains out of Shoot the Box, is fighting for the title on Saturday. Just what do you think about her fight and how she's representing the team?
Eu acho ela muito boa, uma atleta top. Há muitos anos ela se desponta, começou em Curitiba a despontar. Eu acho que ela tem grandes chances de ganhar o cinturão e representar o boxe em alto estilo.
Well, I think she's a great fighter. She's a top athlete. She has been standing out for quite a while already, standing out in Curitiba. And I think she represents Shoot the Box very well and has all the tools to represent Shoot the Box in excellent style and excellent fashion in this fight. And hopefully bring the belt to Curitiba.
My final question, another of his countrymen retired, Anderson Silva. I just wanted his thoughts on the fight and just his career. You know, obviously they were also coming up at the same time in Pride too.
Silva, uma outra lenda, né? Se aposentou. O que você pensa da carreira dele?
Eu acho que ele fez uma carreira brilhante. Ele foi o grande campeonista do UFC e parou na hora certa. Eu acho que cada um para a hora que quiser, né? Ele provavelmente certo, que eu tenho certeza que ele não vai se arrepender de ter parado hoje.
Well, surely Anderson had a brilliant career. He was the biggest champion ever in the UFC. And I mean, I'm sure he knew when to stop. So he's stopping because that's his decision. So we got to respect that. And I'm sure he's not going to regret it because he had a brilliant career.
Thank you, Shogun.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Mike Bond with USA Today.
Hey Shogun, this is the 7th rematch you've had in your career. You're 5-1, and the only loss was to Dan Henderson in a fight you were doing very well in. What makes you so good in the rematches?
Sua sétima revanche, está 5-1 em revanche, a única derrota. Indo bem. O que faz você tão bom nas revanches?
Eu acho que a revanche você consegue estudar melhor do adversário, né? Tanto você quanto ele, né? E, puta, eu não sei. Na verdade, eu me sinto bem. Se Deus quiser, eu vou conseguir vencer mais uma revanche sábado.
Well, I think when you do a rematch, you're able to study your opponent a little better. He, of course, can study you better as well, but I don't really know. But I'm happy with it, and I hope that I'll be able to win one more rematch on Saturday.
When you look back at the first fight, what do you think you have to do different in this one to make it a clear win?
Eu acho que tem que ser mais contundente, talvez ser mais contundente, né? E vencer melhor os rounds, né? Eu acho que é isso que tem que fazer.
Well, I think I need to be more decisive and make the rounds a little more clear. That's basically what I have to do.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
We will take the next set of questions from Carlos Contreras with Milenio Diario. Carlos, please go ahead.
Mauricio, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is, this is like something pending that you have in particular, but it's also what the fans want to see what happened. How much are you expecting this fight against Craig again?
Eu espero uma luta dura, eu sei que ele é um cara bom, um cara grande da categoria. Eu espero o melhor dele, espero vencê-lo.
Well, I expect a tough fight. I know he's a tough guy, a tall, big guy for the weight class, and a dangerous fighter. So I expect a tough fight, and I expect to beat him.
And you still big among the fans, not only Brazilian fans. So how do you feel to still be part of a big pay-per-view event and having all this love from the fans, not only from Brazil, as I said?
Ele tem muito carinho dos fãs, não só do Brasil, mas do mundo inteiro. Está aí ainda hoje num grande pay-per-view, sempre em cards e tal. Como que se sente de ter até hoje esse carinho, esse reconhecimento no Brasil?
Eu fico feliz e com certeza meus fãs, minha maior motivação.
Well, no, I get very happy, and surely my fans are my biggest source of motivation.
Obrigado, Mauricio.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey Shogun, the last fight with Paul Craig ended in a split draw, and we have a lot of debates about judging in this sport. Kind of a two-part question: what did you think of that score, and do you have problems with some of the scoring we've seen in MMA, some of the judging we see in MMA?
Maurício, a sua última luta com o Paul Craig teve um placar meio controverso aí, né, nos jurados, meio controverso. O que você acha dos julgamentos no MMA em geral? Você acha que ainda tem muitos errados ou com falta de critério? Como você vê isso?
Eu acho que sim, eu acho que não consigo entender dar empate essa luta. Acho que eu venci, todo mundo achou isso, mas eu acho que realmente eu não sei qual critério eles avaliaram quem deu o empate, né? Mas eu estou aqui para provar que posso vencê-lo mais uma vez.
Yes, for sure. I didn't agree with the result. I think I won the fight. A lot of people think I won the fight. And it's very hard to understand the criteria and to understand what criteria led them to score a draw in that fight. There's no consistency, but I'm here to prove that I can beat him, and that's that.
Is there any part of you that misses the Pride style of scoring, where it's scored on the entire fight versus round by round that we have here, in the United States and a lot of other commissions around the world now?
Você de alguma forma sente saudade do julgamento do Pride, que considerava a luta como um todo, ao invés de round a round, como é colocado inteiro aqui nos Estados Unidos?
Sim, eu acho o jeito mais justo de avaliar a luta é a luta num contexto geral, não round a round, porque tem pessoas que lutam com essas regras, então eu acho que o mais justo é avaliar num contexto geral.
Yes, actually, yes. I think it's a more fair, if you can say, situation to evaluate the fight as a whole, because when you look at the fight as a whole context, it gives you a better notion of who was better, and some guys are able to fight within the rules and exploit this round by round and tweak a little edge, So yes, I think the overall judgment it's more fair and indicative of what's happening in the fight.
And Shogun, you've mentioned, obviously where you're at in your career, but you're a guy that has fought so many great fighters, have been around for so long. And when you look at a lot of the guys you fought or fought alongside in those Pride days, they've retired, they've walked away. What is it that you've been able to do that you're still able to not only compete, but to compete at this level? I mean, obviously still, ranked light heavyweight, at this stage when so many of your peers, your contemporary, the guys around you, are not around anymore.
A maioria dos seus contemporâneos tiveram sucesso, teve uma carreira, né, brilhante, enfrentou tantos atletas. A maioria dos seus contemporâneos hoje já se aposentou ou não consegue mais estar no topo, estar em eventos grandes, ou contra ranqueados e tal. E você está aí até hoje ranqueado e lutando e ganhando. O que você acha que você fez de diferente ou faz de diferente que você consegue estar até hoje, né, em alto nível? Os contemporâneos acabaram não conseguindo.
Eu acho que é minha equipe, que é a grande responsável, e minha dedicação, acho. São essas duas coisas. Eu acho que não é fácil estar no topo desde 2005, praticamente. Então, eu sou um cara muito realizado com a minha carreira e grato a Deus por tudo que Deus me deu.
Oh, I think my team and my own dedication are the biggest key factors that made me continue to be relevant and compete at high level after so many years. It's not easy to be on the top of the game since 2005, pretty much for that long. And I think, but I'm very happy with my career and very thankful to God and to everything the sport has been giving me and being able to continue to do it at this level.
And last question, Shogun, taking yourself out of the conversation because you're a legend in your own right. There's been a lot of discussion lately about who is the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. John Jones, Khabib Nurmagomedov, George St. Pierre, Fedor Emelianenko. As a guy who has fought in all eras of the sport and fought around so many great fighters and done so many things in your career, I'm curious, who do you believe is the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, in your opinion?
Muita especulação sobre quem é o maior de todos os tempos, né? A gente acha que é o Fedor, a gente quer o Anderson, o Johnny, o Pierre, etc e tal. Na sua opinião, quem você considera, se você considera o maior lutador de MMA?
Eu botaria o Fedor.
Well, I would say Fedor, Emelianenko.
Thank you, Shogun.
Thank you.
And we will take the last set of questions from Cote Cruz with the 4 to Win podcast.
Hey, Shogun, how you doing? Do you hear me?
Good, and you?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing, Eduardo? Good to see you as well.
Thank you very much. Very good. Thank you.
There has been a lot of adaptation in the UFC rules compared to the Pride rules. Is there any rule would you like to see back in the octagon like in the Pride days?
Tem muita diferença de regra entre o Pride e o UFC. Tem alguma regra do Pride e qual que eu gostaria de trazer de
Sim, os pisões de meta.
Yes, the soccer kicks and the foot stomps in the ground.
Well, you are a former light heavyweight champion of the world and 2005 middleweight Grand Prix champion. Could you talk about what does that mean to you?
Você é um cara que foi campeão do Pride GP e campeão do UFC.
Meu sonho realizado, com certeza, e nada melhor do que isso, realizar um grande sonho.
Well, that represents to have my dream fulfilled. I think nothing is more important or nothing is better than being able to fulfill our dreams, and I'm blessed.
As you have noticed, me and my colleagues have been asking a lot about the old days and reminiscing about all your good fights. Why do you think that is? What do you think the people has such a love for that era?
Nota que muitas perguntas estão sendo feitas sobre o seu passado e as lutas do passado, não só suas, de outros atletas e tal. Você acha que as pessoas têm uma saudosismo, uma nostalgia tão grande com essa época do MMA?
Eu acho que era uma época que era mais dinâmico, né? E era mais selvagem assim, o esporte, né? Então acho que por isso, hoje em dia muitas pessoas lutam com as regras debaixo do braço, né? Então eu acho que é por isso que tem um carinho pelo pessoal de antigamente.
Well, I think those were great days. That was a great time for the sport, and especially because it was a little bit more of a wild game in the sport still, and that led to some more exciting and memorable moments. Nowadays, a lot of fighters fight with the rule book, on their arms and trying to quick decisions. So back then everything was more raw, and I think that led to more bigger emotions, and people still relate to them.
I see. Well, Shogun, thank you for such an amazing career, and I'm looking forward to see you compete on Saturday. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mauricio. That is all the questions we had for you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.